The day Daniel Hale put on his late mother's faded blue uniform, he wasn't thinking about dignity or pride. He was thinking about rent due in 3 days, his daughter's asthma inhaler running low, and the echo of his mother's last words still ringing in his ears. Don't ever let your love for your child turn into shame. That morning, rain pressed against the windows of the small apartment like impatient fingers. Daniel stood in front of the mirror, the uniform hanging awkwardly on his lean frame. It smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and something warm and familiar, home. He buttoned it carefully, hand steady despite the storm in his chest, then knelt to kiss the forehead of his sleeping daughter. "Lily, I'll be back before dinner," he whispered, though he wasn't sure if that promise would survive the day. Daniel's mother, Rosa Hale, had worked as a maid for the Whitmore estate for almost 12 years. She cleaned crystal chandeliers taller than their apartment building, polished marble floors that echoed like churches, and ironed linen so expensive Daniel once joked it probably cost more than his college tuition, before he dropped out. Rosa never complained. She believed in honest work and quiet endurance, and the Whitmores, for the most part, treated her fairly until she collapsed. A stroke took Rosa quickly, cruelly, leaving behind hospital bills, a grieving son, and a 7-year-old granddaughter who clutched her grandmother's sweater every night like a lifeline. The Whitmore sent flowers and condolences. Then, a week later, the estate manager called. "We're sorry for your loss," he said in a voice that sounded practiced. "We'll need someone to take over the position immediately." Daniel didn't hesitate. He couldn't afford to. That's how he found himself standing at the iron gates of the Whitmore mansion, rain slicking the pavement, heart pounding harder with each step. He wasn't a maid. He was a former mechanic, a single dad, a man who once dreamed of opening his own garage. But dreams didn't pay for inhalers or school lunches. The gates opened with a mechanical hum, revealing the estate in all its intimidating grandeur. The mansion loomed like a silent judge, all glass and stone, untouched by the world's messiness. Daniel swallowed and walked in. Inside, the house was alive with quiet activity. Other staff moved efficiently, barely glancing at him. To them, he was just another uniform, another replacement. But whispers followed him like shadows. "Is that Rosa's son? A man doing maid work?" How sad. Daniel heard it all. He kept his head down and worked. He cleaned rooms that seemed never to be used, dusted shelves lined with awards and framed magazine covers. Mr. Whitmore, Charles Whitmore, was a self-made millionaire, a tech mogul who built an empire on innovation and ruthless efficiency. Daniel had seen his face on billboards, in interviews, always composed, always in control. They didn't meet at first. For days, Daniel scrubbed, mopped, polished, and endured. His back ached, his hands cracked, but he pushed through. At night, he came home exhausted, collapsing beside Lily as she told him about school, about missing Grandma, about the picture she drew of them holding hands under a bright yellow sun. "Grandma would be proud of you," Lily said one night, her voice small but certain. Daniel smiled through the tightness in his throat. The first real challenge came on a Tuesday. Lily's school called mid-shift. Her asthma flared badly, she needed to be picked up immediately. Daniel's heart raced as he found the estate manager. "I need to leave." "Just for an hour," Daniel pleaded. "My daughter," the manager frowned. "We're short-staffed. Mr. Whitmore is hosting a luncheon. I'll make up the time. I'll stay late." "Please." The manager hesitated, then sighed. "Go. But don't make a habit of it." Daniel ran. He picked Lily up, carried her to the clinic, held her hand as the medication eased her breathing. When he returned to the estate hours later, the luncheon was over. The floors gleamed, the guests gone. Daniel worked until midnight to make up for it. He thought no one noticed. He was wrong. A week later, Daniel was cleaning the Grand Library when a voice cut through the silence. "You're Rosa's son." Daniel turned. Charles Whitmore stood in the doorway, taller than he looked on TV, eyes sharp and assessing. "Yes, sir," Daniel said, bracing himself. "You didn't have to take this job." Daniel met his gaze, something steady settling in his chest. I had to take care of my family. Whitmore studied him for a long moment, then nodded once. See that you do your job well. And just like that, he was gone. But from that day on, Daniel felt eyes on him, not judgmental, but curious. He worked harder, not to prove himself, but because that was who he was. He noticed small things others missed: a leaky pipe in the east wing, a cracked step near the garden. He fixed them quietly, efficiently. Another challenge came when rumors spread some staff resented him. A man taking a woman's job. Someone accused him of stealing supplies. Daniel was called into the manager's office, his stomach churning. I didn't steal anything, he said calmly. We'll review the cameras, the manager said curtly. They did. Daniel was cleared. No apology followed. That night, Daniel sat alone in the staff break room, head in his hands. For the first time since his mother's death, doubt crept in. Was this worth it? The answer came unexpectedly. One afternoon, while cleaning a rarely used guest room, Daniel found a photo fallen behind a dresser. It showed a much younger Charles Whitmore standing beside a woman, both smiling openly, arms around each other. On the back, in faded ink, asterisk, before everything changed. Asterisk. Daniel returned the photo to the desk in Mr. Whitmore's study. The next day, Whitmore called him in. Why did you touch my things? He asked, voice cold. I found it on the floor, Daniel replied. I thought it mattered. Whitmore stared at the photo, something unreadable flickering in his eyes. That was my wife, he said quietly. She died 10 years ago. I'm sorry, Daniel said, meaning it deeply. For a moment, the millionaire wasn't a titan of industry. He was just a man who had lost someone he loved. Why do you work so hard? Whitmore asked suddenly. Daniel thought of Lily, of Rosa, of all the nights he'd wanted to give up. Because someone's watching, he said. And I want her to see me do the right thing. Whitmore dismissed him without another word. Weeks passed. Winter crept in. Lily's health improved. Daniel saved what little he could. The work remained grueling, but something shifted. The staff grew kinder. The whispers faded. Then came the incident that changed everything. During a large charity gala at the estate, a kitchen fire broke out. Panic rippled through the house as smoke filled the corridors. Guests screamed. Staff scrambled. Daniel didn't hesitate. He ran toward the smoke, guiding people out, helping an elderly guest who had fallen. He broke protocol, broke rules, broke a window to let the smoke escape. When it was over, the damage was minimal. No one was hurt. Daniel was reprimanded. You destroyed property, the manager snapped. You're suspended pending review. Daniel nodded, exhausted. He expected it. What he didn't expect was Charles Whitmore calling an emergency meeting the next morning. The staff gathered, tension thick in the air. Daniel stood at the back, heart pounding. I've reviewed the footage, Whitmore began. Daniel Hale acted without instruction. He broke a window. He also saved lives. Silence fell. In my company, Whitmore continued, we value initiative, integrity, and courage. Mr. Hale displayed all three. He turned to Daniel. You are reinstated. Effective immediately. Then he did something that shocked everyone. I'm also offering you a different position, Whitmore said. Facilities supervisor. Full benefits. Flexible hours. Gasps echoed through the room. Daniel's knees nearly gave out. Sir. I don't, you do, Whitmore said firmly. Your mother was loyal. You are capable. And I believe in rewarding character. Tears blurred Daniel's vision. That night, Daniel told Lily the news. She laughed, hugged him tight, and whispered, I knew it. Months later, Daniel stood in the garden of the Whitmore estate, no uniform, just a simple jacket. Lily ran through the grass, healthy and carefree. Nearby, Charles Whitmore watched quietly. You reminded me of something, Whitmore said. That success means nothing if you forget the people who carry you there. Daniel smiled. My mother used to say something similar. The mansion still stood tall and imposing, but to Daniel, it no longer felt like a judge. It felt like a chapter, one he had survived, grown from, and transformed, and as the sun dipped low, casting golden light across the grounds, one truth shone brighter than all the marble and glass combined: no honest work is small. No sacrifice is invisible, and sometimes, the quiet strength of a single parent can change not just a life, but an entire room full of hearts.